While I was en route to this call, I knew that there was a train coming. I had contacted our communications. They've advised me that CN Police and CN Rail stated that the train could not be stopped in time.
The perfect scenario for situations like this are to build a rapport with somebody, to have the area made safe, get the proper resources there, our mental health unit, crisis negotiation team. But sometimes, like in this, that train barreling down on them changed things in an instant.
When Detective Constable Bryan Armstrong and Auxiliary Constable Clint Neuls arrived on the scene, they knew the situation was dire. There stood a distraught man ready to end his life. But things were about to go from bad to worse.
I then proceeded to climb up this steep embankment here, and I came up to the end of the bridge. I came right to here to this grassy area before the walkway started. He was now looking at me, and before I could even start my conversation with him, I could see the big spotlight coming around the corner down the tracks.
That blaring horn was 15,000 tons of steel rounding the corner. In mere seconds, the train would be upon them. On each side, a 40-foot drop to a busy highway. Either direction, a path to certain death. But standing still was not an option. Then,
he turned and looked and took a step down onto the tracks to face the train.
If Armstrong did nothing, this man was going to die. Running towards him might mean neither would ever go home, but he had to try. In an instant, Armstrong was upon him, grabbing him and pulling him to the small walkway beside the track. The blast of the speeding train hit them. The bridge shook. The sound was deafening. Just inches between their bodies and the wheels. One wrong move, one wide car, one flying piece of debris, and everything would be over.
Trains are just 60 miles an hour of solid steel, and they carry all sorts of different size cargo that doesn't necessarily fit within those tracks and has an overhang. And I'm sure that as Bryan was laying there on top of this, not only did he pull him off the tracks, but he put his body over top of the mail. In a sense, he was offering himself up to be injured before the mail was by keeping him flat down. So Bryan was that much higher off the walkway, that much closer to the train. And I'm sure every second that went by felt like an eternity.
Armstrong knew he had to get off the bridge. The man, dead weight beneath him, wasn't moving. Armstrong braced himself and with all his strength began to pull. The train cars still whizzing beside his head. And then out of nowhere, an extra set of hands appears, pulling Armstrong by the back of his vest.
And at that point, I knew it was Clint. When I felt Clint's hands on the back of my vest, I knew at that point we were going to be safe.
Clint sprang into action. As soon as he looked up and saw on that bridge that there was an incident that was going down, he knew that he needed to help that officer. He played a critical role in making sure everyone went home safe that day.
Together, they pulled the man to safety. But things weren't yet over. The man began to struggle and fight back. Armstrong holds him down while Neuls places him in handcuffs, allowing for this harrowing life or death ordeal to come to a safe and successful conclusion. Two men, one paid to do this, another a community member volunteering his time. But that day, they were true partners.
Bryan is an exceptional man. He's a leader amongst his peers. He knew that if there was an opportunity to save this man's life, that he was going to do it, and he was right. His actions are nothing short of heroic. As an auxiliary officer, you're donating your time. There was no question in Clint's mind, obviously, that he had to act as well.
He immediately put himself at great risk to come down that walkway and assist me in getting that person off the bridge. And I think that speaks volumes of his character, that he was willing to put himself in such harm's way to come and assist me to deal with this issue.
Congratulations to DC Bryan Armstrong and Auxiliary Constable Clint Neuls.